Well, Quinnen Williams knows exactly who to blame for the Jets starting the season 0-5. He didn't hold back, and neither will we. Boy Green Daily starts now.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Let's go!
Put your seatbelts on. Get ready for the ride. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Hey, what's going on, good people? I'm Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcast. We have an article in the YouTube description down below on this very subject matter. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. By the way, quick shout out, Dylan Terriman, baby. Thanks for the gear. Thanks for gearing me up, baby. Appreciate you. Sending this to the crib. So shout out DT Dylan Terriman. You guys can look him up on YouTube and subscribe to his YouTube channel. Some pretty sweet gear, baby. I love it. So shout out to your merch guy, Indy Jets. He did a pretty good job. One more shout out, and then we'll get to our special guest here on the show. I have to start the program off with a very special happy birthday to the Queen, my beautiful fiance, Tatiana Davis. This is us wearing our Jet Cowboys hats in full gear before the Jets Cowboys game over the weekend. And happy birthday, Tatiana. I can't do what I do without Tatiana. I don't say it enough. I need to say it more. She is able to be the perfect mother to our children, to hold them hostage when I'm doing another interview and somehow keep them quiet and do this and everything. And I do interviews in the morning, afternoon, and night. And I do them all over the place. Without her, I just couldn't do it. And the successes that the show has brought, which has been awesome, it's nothing if you have no one to share them with. And so that's been a lot of fun to do it with my fiance. And she helped a great deal with the tailgate and behind the scenes ways that no one would ever know. She put all the shirts together, the packages, the ideas and labels. And she stayed up till 2 or 3 in the morning going through all that. So she's the best. Happy birthday to the Queen herself. Tatiana, baby. She is the best. So shower the happy birthday shout outs and super chats and memberships and make them rain from the high heavens, baby. Salute to Tatiana. We'll have a special day for her in between all my Jets work. We'll figure it out. By the way, let's get to our special co-host. He joins us every friggin' Friday here on the program. It is the legend, Bob Lederer. What's up, Bob?
Happy birthday, Tatiana. And my wife would not have let me do a program from the bedroom. I will tell you that right now.
Yeah, that's a good point, right? What was that, Monday? So, yeah, while they were sleeping in the same room, I did Boy Green Daily, and I checked with her beforehand, so she didn't wake up and go, what the hell's going on in here? She knew it was coming, and she approved it. So that's...
And my wife would have given me a map and said, go find the lobby.
That's true. I did sort of just in case. I wasn't sure what her answer would be. I'm like, let me check out the lobby. Let me check out the business office. Are there other options available? And she said, no, you can do it in the room. I'm like, oh, all right. And we did. So
and we had the debut, the live debut of your son.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, which is and was and continues to be awesome. So we'll see how he's incorporated into any potential future video content that could be coming up here shortly. But let's get to this. I know you people are on the edge of your seats about this. What the hell did Quinnen say? Who did he blame? Well, he blamed the defense for the reason the Jets are 0-5, and I don't disagree. Let's go to Quinnen Williams this week.
I want to talk about the bonding thing that you guys do. Is this the type of trip that could turn around you guys to see getting away from everything?
I don't even think about the trip because if we was in New Jersey right now, it would be the same kind of mindset right now because like we are 0-5 and the defense to me has been the problem, the reason why we're 0-5. And to be as a unit, to be as a team, we have to pull that together, especially on defense, to make sure we do the necessary things we can do. So if we was in Florham Park right now, it'll be the same conversations, the same attitude, the same solution-based things when it comes down to fixing and applying the solutions to Sundays. So it's one of those things like when you 0-5, no matter where you at, you got to fix things. When you probably the worst defense of the league, no matter where you at, you got to fix things if you want to win football games and go into the right direction. So.
He's right. The defense stinks. That's the whole reason they're on 5. They are currently on pace to give up more points than any Jets defense in the history of this franchise and the New York Titans franchise, for that matter. Like, they've been awful. So I appreciate the candidness. I appreciate pointing the finger at themselves, because it's true. This defense has been awful this season, Bob.
Yeah, and I was reading just before we came on, they're giving up an average 140 yards a game on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
That kills their pass defense, because if you don't have to throw, that may account somewhat for no turnovers by the defense, which is another thing he didn't talk about,
Sure,
but is a big red blotch that we're all aware of. But the ball, in their defense, it's their only defense. The ball never seems to bounce in their direction when it comes free. So, I mean, you see it while it's happening, and you never see a green shirt, around it, to cover.
Yeah. Those are also issues as well. And here's the thing, more accountability here from Quinnen Williams. He says it's on the players to fix this because apparently the coaching staff have provided the solutions. Here's Quinnen one more time.
What are you seeing from the defense as a whole? You guys are giving up 30 times. We know you have no takeaways, right?
Yes.
So what do you see that needs to be better?
A lot of stuff needs to be better. Like you just named off a couple of problems that we have, but like AG, Coach Wilkes, and also all our position coach gave us all the solutions to those problems, and it's on us as a unit, as a team, as the leaders on the defense and players on defense to take those solutions, apply them every single day, every single week, and also apply them on Sundays. So that's kind of the main focus right now and the main objective right now.
The Jets defense should not be this bad. They are this bad, so we have to address the very obvious, but they shouldn't be this bad. They have Quinnen Williams. They have Will McDonald. Jermaine Johnson is expected to make his return this week, which will be critical, I'm sure. They have Sauce Gardner, and a lot of these guys, outside of Quinnen's played very well, but outside of Quinnen, a lot of these guys have not played up to snuff for the New York Jets this season. Can they just get off the mat? And again, maybe in this London experience where they're all staying in the same hotel, the coaches are staying in that hotel, they're having all their meetings in there, and that maybe all this forced togetherness can have them to answer some of these uncomfortable questions about why the hell they've been sticking and how they can hopefully turn it around with still 12 more games left in this season.
It's so ironic that Jeff Ulbrich has the Atlanta Falcons with one of the best defenses in the NFL.
Yep. Number 1, as a matter of fact, in yards allowed per game. Jeff Ulbrich is number 1. And obviously Salah's been doing very well over there in San Francisco.
Oh, yeah. Well, he was going to be good because he just went back to work on what he was doing with San Francisco before he came to us. But Ulbrich, who took a lot of heat for coaching, head coaching, and for defensive coordinating at the same time last year, is now just focused on that one job. And he's done an interesting job with the Falcons, who were awful last year defensively.
And quite frankly, over the last, I'll categorize it like last 10 years, maybe it's even longer, their pass rush has historically been very bad. They've been constantly, sort of like the Jets for a long time, we were looking for that next double-digit sack pass rusher, which is ironic that we're talking about Falcons because John Abraham, who eventually played over there too, that was our last guy for a long time before we finally found someone. And now we have the full circle moment where Atlanta was undergoing those same things, but finally some hits in the draft, the right coaching perhaps with Jeff Ulbrich returning, where he previously was a defensive coordinator or as an interim basis anyway. It's impressive. So it's time for the Jets, long story short, to get off the mat. Here's a fun fact. I'm going to be honest, Bob, people did not like this fun fact that I shared last night, but it is an accurate fun fact. And it happened. So yesterday, let's give a shout out to for no reason, apparently. The Giants upset the Philadelphia Eagles, and Jackson Dart had a lot of fun. I mean, they didn't just upset them. They blew them out. They lapped them. I believe they scored 34 and the Eagles scored 17. So they doubled them up and looked very good. But Jalen Hurts threw an interception yesterday at the end of the game, a very bad interception. He should have been a little bit more crisp on that throw, flattened it out, and it would have been intercepted in that same way and got it out quicker. But Justin Fields is the only starting quarterback in the NFL that's played at least 4 games that has not thrown a pick this season, baby. So he remains unblemished. It was him and Jalen Hurts, and now Jalen Hurts has joined the interception crew. So Justin Fields not thrown a pick this year. The only starting quarterback that's played in at least 4 games this season to not throw a pick. And a lot of Jet fans threw angry things at me on social media. That's not very nice. Santa's going to remember that in a couple of months. But Bob, it is true.
I hate to say it, Boy Green, but you've left me speechless.
See, isn't that beautiful? So, folks, throw your angry objects at me, but it is the gosh darn truth. As Justin Fields,
I'll tell you what, he better get the ball out quickly, because they say Denver on Sunday has the fiercest defense in terms of immediate rush, on the quarterback. And boy, I hope they've got a good game plan, because it's, it could get out of control really quickly.
Yeah, I'm nervous.
Hopefully they spent the entire flight passing a football around and saying, now, how do you hold it when you're running with it?
Yeah, and hopefully there was fan open suggestions.
Everybody trying to punch it out. See,
sure.
And if it hit the ground on the airplane, everybody jumps on top of it.
Yeah, I like it. Hey, they need to do everything, whether obtuse or not, and trying to figure out how to not give the ball away. That'd be great. I know they don't have any takeaways this season, and hopefully that comes at some point. But why don't we start with you holding on to the gosh darn biscuit? I think that would be an important piece to this puzzle. But to your point, Denver leads the league in sacks. They have 21 sacks, and that's impressive on itself. Like, wow, that's a lot of production. They have 5 more sacks than the next closest team. So they lead the league, and they lead the league by a lot. So, and they've got a clear number 1 guy, Nick Bonito, who has 7 sacks this season. He's almost at double-digit sacks, and we're 5 weeks of the season. That's unbelievable. And they have 4 other guys who have at least 2 sacks, including our good old pal, John Franklin Myers. Another revenge game. Why wouldn't there be on the schedule? So JFM has been playing absolutely spectacular.
I don't know a single Jet fan who didn't go, what? When they traded him. And I think they traded him for a 5th-round pick.
Even less, I believe. I believe it was a swapping of 6th and 7th. So
yeah, the guy, the whole idea that they couldn't afford him because they were bringing in
Reddick.
Because of Reddick. And again, I will never forget the afternoon that they made that deal. And I was listening to Jake. And Jake was just, to use an expression, quelling.
I'm sure.
This is great. And I sat there in my little office and said, but they have to sign him to a contract the same way the Eagles did, or he's going to be a very upset young guy, and he's not going to want to play very well or play at all. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and so it was just the combination of both bad. So Hassan Reddick was MIA in a locker room, malcontent and everything else. And then when he finally got on the field, didn't produce. So you have that in a negative way. And then JFM was really good for Denver immediately. He actually delivered a career season that year in sack production. So he was really great, and Hassan Reddick was really bad. So it was like a double net negative for the Jets that they pulled off that decision, which was not very good. But
they weakened themselves on the left side of the defensive line, because they didn't really come up with anybody to replace him.
They absolutely did not. And we've got a question for the Peanut Gallery. I love this. NC Green with a $5 super chat. Let's hear from her. Wow. Thank you, Zariah Luna. The question is fascinating by NC Green. By the way, you have 2 more raffle tickets for our contest, NC Green, and I'll eventually reveal the mystery prizes that are available this month. More on that later. Justin Fields hasn't thrown an interception. The defense hasn't gotten an interception. Who breaks the tie first, Bob Lederer?
Wow. I'll say the offense.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Unfortunately, late in the game when it's out of reach.
Okay. I'm going to go defense. Just because here's the thing. It doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to happen. Quinnen Williams sort of said this during his media availability about, oh, man, Quinnen, is it frustrating? You're getting like double teamed on every play and you're not getting a sack production. He's like, it's not frustrating. I've been dealing with it my entire career. And let's be honest, the people out there don't care if I was double teamed and I don't get the sack, or I'm double teamed and I get the sack. It's about the production. It's getting the sack or pressure or quarterback hit no matter what. So they don't care about, basically, and I'm paraphrasing now, they don't care about my sob story of, geez, I'm double teamed. So sorry, guys, no pressures. He says that he has to get it under any circumstance. And in the same way, we go to the defensive interception. That I think an interception is going to happen. A ball's going to get deflected up in the air. And as long as the Jets didn't visit the popcorn stand before the game, one of those are just going to fall right into their hands, and all they have to do is hug it. And hopefully they've been doing that on the plane, as Bob suggested. And then, boom, we have our first interception. So it's bound to happen. The odds say, the shape of the football, how weird and quirky things happen, especially in London. All kinds of weird stuff happens in London. The Jets defense gets their first interception, and I will be doing live play-by-play. That will be we just won the Super Bowl when that happens. I will lose my bananas when that happens.
And they win the Super Bowl twice in a row if they then convert it into a touchdown.
If only, if only. Yeah, I mean, that would be spectacular. A pick six or something, or checking off like all of these things that they haven't done this season, just to go boop, 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 boop. I'd be like, wow.
How about they recover a fumble or intercept the ball?
That would also be good. And
on first down, Fields throws a touchdown.
And we will see, by the way, because of the time zone difference. So Aaron Glenn is speaking right now in London with the time zone difference gap. So if you guys see any news on Twitter and you want to super chat it in that we can react to it live here on the show, feel free to do so, because with the time difference, we should be getting final injury report. I don't think we're going to get it before the end of this show, but we should get some updates from Glenn. He may rule people out and rule people in. I imagine Jermaine is news we're going to get here shortly, which again would just be.
You think there might be a report that Isaiah Williams got injured on the plane by his teammates who don't want to see him on the field on Sunday?
Yeah, that would be Isaiah Williams. And and here's the thing, Bob. We talked about it before the show. There are a lot of danger signs that Isaiah Williams could certainly be available. Let's go through. So Isaiah Williams, for those who don't remember somehow, the Jets had Xavier Gibson. He fumbled the kickoff in the Pittsburgh game. We lost. Jets are like, well, we got to replace this guy. Xavier Gibson out, Isaiah Williams in. They replaced Xavier Gibson directly with Isaiah Williams. And Xavier Gibson, excuse me. And then Williams had the bad fumble in the second half of the Week 4 Monday Night Football game. Then he had the stupid fair catch at the 2-yard line. And then the Jets cut him right before the Cowboys game. I'm like, oh, thank God. See you later, loser. And then I found out right before they made the trip to London, they traveled on Monday, they re-signed Isaiah Williams to their practice squad. And I'm like, oh, boy, why do this? Well, what's the point? And now Allen Lazard's out for this game. We'll see the status of Quinnen Williams. The Jets only have 4 healthy receivers on the 53-man roster. You have Garrett Wilson, you have Tyler Johnson, you have Arian Smith, and Josh Reynolds. So they have to elevate somebody. You can't just go into a game with 4. Is Isaiah Williams the guy because of his return ability? That would scare the hell out of me. So please, for the love of God, I hope that is not what occurs, but I think I have an eerie feeling that may be exactly what happens.
I want to use an extra offensive lineman against Denver,
which they've been doing a lot. So shout out to Max Mitchell. He's been that extra offensive lineman.
Yeah, he played a lot last week.
Yeah, and which has been helpful, but there's a lot of pieces that go into that puzzle for sure. But that certainly was helpful in the Cowboys game, that's for sure.
One of the big losses with Allen being hurt is Allen's a very good pass blocker. And
yes,
they're going to need that on Sunday as well, because you got to have some extra protection for the quarterback, even for Fields. And having a full back end or a halfback, or maybe both sometimes, who can stay in the backfield and help clear the way, for the quarterback is essential.
There's no doubt about it. It is absolutely essential. And wait, we've got breaking good news, Bob. Thank the Lord above. Again, because of the time zone difference, Aaron Glenn is speaking right now at this very moment. And finally, for the love of everything that's holy, there are a couple of things to celebrate in the great universe of breaking news coming in. And let's get to it, folks. Here it is right now on the show. Let's get this update. Here we go. Hit it. We will have 2 returns to the field in Week 6 for the New York Jets against the Denver Broncos. It will be Jermaine Johnson and Quinnen Williams. Thank God he's back. I thought he was going to die from this hamstring injury. We haven't seen him since Week 1, for God's sake, and he is back. So Aaron Glenn seconds ago, just confirmed Jermaine Johnson, who's battling an ankle calf issue. He is back. And Nguanu is back, who has been battling a hamstring injury. This guy hurt his hamstring in week 1. It is week 6. So that was a month and a half ago. This must have been one of the worst hamstring injuries of all time. And thank God. So that gives us a little bit of relief on the potential Isaiah Williams elevation. I still think we get a wide receiver elevation. So kids, pay attention to the young bucks, of course. Quentin Skinner, Brandon Smith,
Yeah.
Jamal Pritchett, maybe. I don't know who that guy's going to be, but it will be one of those receivers. I would doubt that it's one of the return men since Kane Guanu is coming back full flower here. But wow, big news, Bob. Thank God.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and Smith played a number of plays last week, which you and I have been calling for.
Yes.
So, last week as well. So maybe he's going to get some more touches, this week. I don't know. It's really hard to know or to feel totally optimistic about what can happen on Sunday, but just maybe the change of scenery, will help. Although it didn't help last year against Minnesota.
That it did not.
Yeah, it was pretty bad last year. All I know is I'll be getting up at 8:30.
There you go, baby.
Turning on the TV and won't even have to leave the comfort of my bed and
nice.
Just watch, and I'll shower during halftime, and
okay.
Hopefully it'll be a happy shower.
Let's hope for the best, Bob. That would be great. I see we got another super chat coming in here on the show. Troy Sturgis, baby. Appreciate you, Troy. Zariah Luna, hit him with another wow, baby.
Wow.
Troy Sturgis says, win or lose, just play competitively. Nah.
I'm past moral victories.
100%. I don't want competitive. Yes. Have they, in the 5 weeks in totality, have they been blown out twice? Yes. Bills and Cowboys. Those 2 were blowouts.
I mean, Denver's a hot and cold team.
Very much so. Look at their schedule. Yeah, of course.
They can play down to the competition, and they obviously can play, really well against good competition. Although now that the Eagles have lost to the Giants, who were horrendous against New Orleans last week, now you got to wonder how good Philadelphia was when Denver beat them last week.
It is so funny that you said that, Bob, because last night, right, so the Giants end up whomping the Eagles. And I say to myself, I didn't tweet this out because people were yelling at me enough about the Justin Fields thing. So I said, you know what, I'll save this one in the drafts. But I said, you know what, maybe Denver isn't that good. If sure they beat them, we went, ooh. And the Giants question were like, oh, well,
Well, one of these teams is going to look at the schedule in the coming week and say, oh, the Jets, oh, come on. All we got to do is show up.
And maybe that's the Broncos this week, right?
Yeah, and that'll be the kiss of death. But
yeah. So we can only hope. So Troy, I love you, buddy, and thank you for calling in this week. Just playing competitively is not good enough for me. Denver is not insert the 2000 Baltimore Ravens. They're not the 1985 Chicago Bears. They're very good. Their defense leads the league in sacks. They are a very talented team, but obviously they've lost 2 games already this season. You're telling me they can't lose a third? They're not this unbeatable, impenetrable team. Any team can be beat on any given Sunday, especially a team that's clearly already been beat twice this season. So competitive football is not enough for me. We need a win, man. We're freaking 0-5. We need to find a way to win a game.
On the other hand, Bo Nix and his short passing game, he can just pick you apart.
Yeah, he's been very hot and cold this season too, which has been interesting. He was spectacular in the second half of last year. When we played the Broncos 6 straight years. This will be 6 straight years. It was awful. They won 10-9 because we're idiots. But Bo Nix had 50 yards passing or something. He looked absolutely trash. So we'll hope if this Jets defense can wake up and deliver similar difficulties for Bo Nix this season in the same way that he had it last season, at least against the Jets. So Troy, I appreciate the super chat, but competitive is not enough for me. I've got higher standards than that. I need a win. And that's what I'm aggressively chasing. I'm not. There is no way after this game, which we'll do a post game show, which will be very weird timing wise. That'll probably be in the 12:30-ish range, 12 o'clock, 12:30-ish range before football starts for everyone else. So that'll be a bit bizarre, but we will have you covered with the.
Hey, if they win, you might be on the air through all the early round games.
Wow, that would be something. And hey, you know what? To celebrate our first victory of the season, blessed be he. We'll pop the bubbly. It's gonna be, it's the opposite of the 1960 1972 Miami Dolphins. It's like popping the bubbly that we're not the 2008 Lions or the 2016 Browns, that we actually did win a game, in fact. That would be spectacular. The Jets, in their troubled, checkered history, have never gone winless in a season. They've been close. They've won one game. They've won two games. But they've never gone winless. I'd rather not join that history. Thank you very much. So, yeah, let's win the freaking game as far as I'm concerned.
By the way, I was watching yesterday your show. I couldn't watch it 2 previous days. It was one of those Jewish holidays again. We got,
of course,
one last one next one.
Okay.
One last one next week.
Yeah.
I was watching yesterday morning, and the callers, particularly Indy and Neil,
there you go,
absolutely spot on. And I love the point that I think Neil made, that if you start trading our better players now, what are you going to be left with? You got a crappy team now that has some good players, and you'll have even a crappier team that'll have no players.
Yeah.
So I had a question, and maybe it's something for everybody to answer, or maybe it's not. But
all right,
I said last week that I wouldn't want to trade Brees, because I think getting a really high quality running back is a difficult thing to do.
Sure.
From what I heard yesterday, getting a running back is not that difficult a thing to do. But okay, let's place my idea aside.
Yeah.
What is the most difficult position to replace if you trade a quality player? From that. Now, I mean, we're not going to trade a wide receiver because Garrett Wilson isn't going anywhere.
Right.
But between running back and defensive line, and well, we can't say much about our linebackers, but I think both of them, if they're healthy, have trade value. And maybe it's cornerback. Which position is the most difficult position to replace with a high quality player?
It's a good question, especially because both ways, not just like who can learn a system in the middle of a season with trading.
Well, even if you're just looking at a draft, if you're going to draft somebody, what's the one position, if you're starting from scratch, that's essential? If you know he's going to be a really good player.
Well, obviously outside of quarterback, because we got to put that aside.
Right. I mean, it took us so long to find Sauce.
Right. Yeah, I would assume it'd be corner, right?
Yeah, might be corner. Be corner.
Yeah,
I mean, defensive tackles, I'm not saying they're a dime a dozen. They're not when they're as good as Quinnen. And he was what, a number 3 or number 4 draft pick?
3rd overall in 2019.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, Garrett was 10. And Brees, they got early in the 2nd round. Like they traded up to get the first pick.
They did. Yeah, I don't think it was the first. I think it was 35th or 34th overall, but they did make that trade up to ensure they got him. They tried to trade into the back end of the 1st round to try to get him that night, but they were unable to strike the deal. And then Brees was super disappointed. It was very important to him to be a 1st-round pick. That obviously didn't happen. So then he ended up getting a chip on his shoulder, which I think helped out the Jets anyway, because he got even more angry about it. But he's played very well this season. I've gone back and forth on this, Bob, to be candid. I know on shows, you're just supposed to have hot takes, and you're supposed to ride that ship until it crashes into a glacier, and then you go down to the bottom of the ocean.
Never waver in your opinion.
That's what they say. But Brees Hall, it's interesting because, obviously he's playing very well individually. He's a top 10 in the league in rushing, but, he's in the last year of his deal. Is he going to stay? Does he want to stay? Do the Jets want to keep him? And obviously Justin Fields benefits from Brees Hall being on the team versus Isaiah Davis or Kene Nguanu, who is now returning to the lineup. Man, that doesn't present a challenge, at least from a historical track record standpoint, of those guys stepping in and defense going, whoa, this guy's stepping in.
If they trade Brees Hall before or at the trade deadline, who's gonna run the ball if the other team is going to have any fear about?
Justin Fields, I guess, is the answer to that question.
When Allen was healthy, the thought of having the big bruising guy who could just carry people with him straight up the middle, and Brees who could, or go off tackle or go around, around the end, that was a threat. You've got to have that ability to do both. And they didn't have one guy who could do both. So they came in with a 2-headed, capability.
Yeah, so I go back and forth because Brees is so dynamic. And wouldn't that be nice for next year to have that guy, whether it's franchise tag or however you evaluate it, because the Jets are going to have plenty of money. But we have another super check coming in from Philly Noodles.
Wow.
Thank you, Phil. You now have 2 raffle tickets this month. He says a right and left tackle for the answer to our question, which that makes sense. Offensive
okay.
line, and you need others for chemistry and things of that nature. You are, at least for left tackle, I guess it depends on your quarterback, I guess, but, left and right tackle can be a little bit of an island. So maybe in theory it should be easier that you just come out and your job is easier, but I'm oversimplifying offensive line play to give that answer for that. And he says, bye-bye, Breeze. Sorry. He, with several waving hands emojis, he seems very fine trading Breeze for assets now.
Well, I think, if a real contender loses their running back,
right,
just before the deadline or whatever, that might be all it takes for the Jets to trade Brees.
It could be.
Because somebody's going to need, out of desperation, to get someone who can do the job. And Brees can do the job for anybody.
Yeah.
And especially if you look at the Jets offensive line, which we all thought was going to be one of the 10 best, and, has had some hiccups.
They certainly have. And before we go to the phone lines, I want to give a shout out here. I did it at the beginning of the show, but I'll say it again. Dylan Terman says, wow, just tuned in. Nice shirt, BG. Yes, there he is. It's his emoji there. It's a fellow Jets content creator. So, guys, you actually can click right there on his name and go right to his channel and subscribe. You should. I love supporting fellow Jets content creators out there in the universe. And I want it to be known I was subscriber number 1. Dylan had a big fat 0. And then I was number 1, so I appreciate him putting me in the Dylan Terman Hall of Fame. I expect royalties for all his success, prizes, awards, accolades. All of those things clearly should be coming for me for my support of the great Dylan Terman. So thanks for the merch. The gear looks phenomenal. Like I said, my Hop on Pop Indy Jets wore this Dylan Terman gear to the tailgate and under his Braylon Allen jersey. And my pop was like, whoa, that's sweet. So he's probably going to be one of many people, I imagine.
By the way, I didn't get a chance to ask you. I don't know if you've talked about it.
All right.
How was your dad attitudinally as this game was unfolding on Sunday and afterwards?
He was
he a supportive father?
He absolutely
did. He lay it on you?
He did definitely lay it on me. There were several. How about them Cowboys? There was so where we were positioned. So we had 65, maybe 70 Jet fans in totality, where everyone was sitting in every row. We were in rows 8 through 12, and there was Cowboys fans. Right in front of me was Eric Arango Sr., a Dallas Cowboys fan. Down to the left of me was Hop on Pop, and I think behind me was Kim Haverly, and she's a Dallas Cowboys fan. That's Havmo's wife. And we had those Cowboys fans. So every time a big play happened, and spoiler alert, it happened a lot, they'd all get up and go, and point at each other, Cowboys, woo! And I'm like, oh my God, get a room, Jesus. So it was pretty disgusting, but hey, I can't blame them. If it was going the other way, I'd be doing pelvic thrusts in their direction, going Jets, 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 Jets. Unfortunately, I only got to do that the first drive when they went up 3-0. I should have taken a picture. Would have lasted longer with them having a lead over America's team. But yeah,
it's always even worse when the person yelling, "How about them Cowboys?" is not from Texas.
That's also true. Yeah. So yes, he let it rain, but again, I got nothing to say. I talked a lot of trash. The meet and greet the night before, when I got on the mic, I rallied the crowd saying, and you guys all know why we're here, to beat some Cowboys ass. And the crowd goes, wow, goes crazy like animals. At the tailgate, I did it again. I'm like, yeah, let's beat those Cowboys. Yeah. And then everyone was going crazy. And my pop just gave silent head nods. Oh, okay. Okay. And then he got the last laugh, I guess. So
he wasn't concerned about our first drive that went straight down the field.
Apparently not. No, he had Zip and Pip and just was like, hey, 60-minute game. Let's see what happens. And like I said, for the majority of the first half, I guess it was close, right? The Jets Cowboys went back and forth, and then the dam broke.
Did you get the impression, because it's hard to really tell on television.
Sure.
Did you really get the impression at times that the Jets just didn't put out all effort, particularly on defense?
Yes. One play that comes in particular is just what I was just talking about at the end of the first half, right?
Yeah.
So the Jets Brees Hall fumbles, Cowboys take advantage, and then Cowboys have a lead. The Jets are like, well, we got the ball back with the time. Like, maybe we could get in field goal range, touchdown. Who knows what could happen? So they initially try to go for it, and then they don't get the first down. So Cowboys switch, and they start calling timeouts. Jets kick the ball back. And I looked at my dad. I'm like, damn, Cowboys are smart to do all this because Brandon Aubrey has a massive leg. They could kick a great field goal here, and he could kick from any distance. And my pop sort of nodded and agreed. Well, no field goal required. Javonte Williams broke like 12 tackles, and as he was belting down the left hash, I saw Malachi Moore on the big screen, like not going full speed, but he was right next to Javonte. And I'm like, what is he doing? I'm like, is he trying to punch the ball out? But that doesn't make any sense. Javonte has the ball in his left hand on the sideline. Even if you punch it out, it's going out of bounds. So it was just very odd how lackadaisical he was, which basically that allowed, in my opinion, an extra 10 or 15 yards, which made the touchdown all a guarantee. Maybe it would have been a guarantee either way. But yeah, there was definitely lackadaisical effort.
Did you see Glenn pull him aside as he came off the field?
Who, Malachi? In that I did not see. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
He could have, but
Okay.
But yeah, so that was disappointing, and disappointing in general. I never want to see that. I want to see a Jets team that flies to the. If they just get their ass beat by a better team, so be it. That's something I can accept. But lack of effort, hustle, and all those things are you can control. Whether you're the most talented person in the world or the least talented person in the world, your effort is something we can control on every bleeping play. So when that comes into question, whether you're 0-5 or 5-0, that pisses me off. I'm like, what are you guys doing? That's something you can blame this. You can blame this when it's hustle and effort. All your fingers are pointing back at yourself because that's something that you can control. So,
well, Steve Wilkes said they emphasized tackling this week.
Well, we can only hope that works. That's for sure. So, all right, folks.
Like, well, what is the game about if it's not tackling?
That's a good question because the Jets have struggled in that department. Over the last 3 weeks, I think Zach Rosenblatt had this stat. The Jets lead the league in missed tackles over the last 3 weeks, which is they lead the league in penalties, tackles over that 3-week stretch, and then one other horrific category. So it's not been great, Bob. Not been great at all.
I think I've noticed that.
We'll see. Yeah, we will see if it turns around. Speaking of turning it around, one thing that'll definitely pick up our efforts is, and you'll appreciate this, Bob, because this one's even longer, right? We talked about this HEP song I play, and then you need to go get, a refill on your coffee. You're like, man, if that just looped one more time around, I'd have enough time on my 40-yard dash. Well, the good news is this version is the live HEP version where he sang the Boy Green Daily song.
He sang it twice.
He sure did. Here it is.
1, 2, 3. Whoa! Boy Green, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Talking Jets football, man. Moron! Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. The New York Jets Football Club. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green. Everyone, J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets. Boy Green, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Talking Jets football, man. Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green. J-E-T-S, Jets, Jets, Jets. Let's go!
And one of the best parts is Hep just letting it riff. Let's go! And then it was like he was like at a sellout stadium and just played his best jam. And went, let's go! The people just erupted in euphoria and elation and jubilation.
I heard that right afterwards, Paul McCartney contacted him again.
That's true. It definitely happened. I was in the general vicinity when that occurred. And salute to the one and only Hep. Or Hef. Either way, let's bring him in. What's up, Hef?
Hey, guys.
Here's Hef.
Yeah. Hey, guys. How's it going?
How are you, Hef?
Good. You know, the funny thing is I had forgotten my guitar strap at home. So I was playing the guitar kind of just leaning.
Oh, I
my
see.
hand.
Oh, wow.
So I noticed by the last verse, my guitar is going, it's stripping down a bit.
What a pro. What a pro.
Yeah. Well, you got to,
you always overcome adversity.
That's it.
true.
You know,
I
that's
wish
the name of the game.
But...
That's the entertainment game. You know that.
Yeah,
know,
baby.
keep going.
That's it.
When in
Love
doubt, put a smile on your face and say, I meant that. Yep.
I love
You
that.
and you and Mrs. Heff had a good time on Sunday.
We
All
did. We
things
did.
considered?
We did. We
Okay,
wound
great.
up leaving a little early. Mrs. Heff wasn't feeling the greatest, and the sun was kind of moving. I don't know if it ever got to our section.
It did not.
Oh, it did
It did
not.
not. So by the way, I want to, I try to take credit for everything in my life because, why not? Do you want to show me praise? I'm all about it. But one thing that people are like, oh, Paul, nice. You got these perfectly shaded seats. What forethought? I'm like, come on. That was complete BS luck. I had no idea whatsoever. Those just happened to be there, and I saw the shade when I came in. I'm like, oh, nice, sweet.
Well,
Yeah.
you know where not to sit if it's December.
Yeah,
That's for
right.
sure.
It was
that's
brutal,
cool.
Bob. It was really hot. It was like one of those real hot days. It was unrelentless. The sun was really beating down hard, but we were really.
Get sunburned. I mean, it's easy when you're not really prepared for it. I burned in 15 minutes.
Yeah, you would have burned that. You would have burnt that day.
Crispy,
for sure.
very crispy.
So tomorrow I might not be on the show. I have to go. It's a little more than a year since my dad had passed away.
Of course.
So tomorrow we're going to a little bit of a ceremony up by my dad's house. So I'll probably be on the road. But
we'll be thinking about you, Pep.
Thanks. Yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to all the fathers and the sons. Fathers and sons relationships can get wonky sometimes, and they get lost, and this bitterness, and things could linger on in life. But you know what? It's too short. You got to remember when you're just a little boy and your daddy you were sitting on your daddy's knee. That's the love that's there. Mm-hmm. So if you can work it out with your dad, or if you're a dad, you can work it out with your son. Maybe swallow a little bit of whatever your pride or whatever, because pride is bullshit at the end. The most important thing is love, and if you can't have that between your father and your son, what can you have? Okay, so work it out, fellas. Peace out.
Great message. Appreciate you, Hef. Thank you so much. Mm-hmm. And all right, let me try to work it out with my old man right now, I guess. All right, Pop. What the hell's going on?
Hey now,
there's a lot of extra hoopla going on here. So let's
Pop,
work it out.
What are you going to do the rest of the season now that last Sunday has come and gone?
I'm going to enjoy both Jets and Cowboys football.
Enjoy.
Okay. The Jets are going to turn it around.
Do you think the Cowboys did a turnaround last week?
I think the Cowboys defensive coordinator recognized, if you realized and looked at the schemes, they went back to the man, which is what Diggs and Bland are all about. They switched away from the heavy zone. They were struggling, similar to how Sauce was struggling with some of the man because he's used to zone. So it's back and forth. But I think their defense has rebounded. But two quick things.
Okay.
Or three or four. First, I'd like to do a shout out. I'll call her my daughter-in-law because you're afraid to pull the trigger there, Boy Green. But she is a member of I'll call her my daughter. Forget the in-law part.
Oh, wow.
So shout out to Tatiana. Happy birthday.
All right.
I hope it's a great one.
Real quick. Okay. All right. Here we go.
Yeah. The only detractor to your birthday is you got to spend it with Boy Green.
All right.
On a more serious note, Hep, I completely understand where you're at about a year out. Once a year, we travel to visit my dad, who passed away almost 2 years ago. So it is important. The bond is important. So our thoughts are with you this weekend.
Yeah. No proper words to say for stuff like that. So absolutely. But yes. Thank you for sharing.
And Bob, the reason it's much better to pick a team than to happen to be born in a state and then, I'm here, I guess I'll root for them.
So randomly assigned. I see.
As a Cowboys fan, right, the glory days have been a while. They've been a reasonably successful team over the past 10 years or so, but haven't made the prized land. So definitely not a bandwagon hopper as a fan for 50 years. But I chose them not because of where I was born. But by the way, Vermont doesn't have a team. So,
but you traveled, lived in all kinds of different places across the country, maybe even around the world, for all I know. Yeah. How did you just come to become a Cowboys fan?
As a child, I watched them on TV and I liked them. It doesn't get a whole lot more complicated than that, really. My father, we lived in New England. My father was a Giants fan, and my intelligence wouldn't allow that to happen. So and I definitely wasn't going to be a Patriots fan. So I just became a Cowboys fan. So yeah, 50 years.
I always marveled when I was a kid in the 60s when Landry was coaching them. I don't even know what to call it or how to describe it, how the offensive line, just before the play was run, how they would all,
Oh yeah. What's that called then?
Yeah, they still do that. They now
Yes.
call it like the Landry salute. I don't know if there's a formal name for it, but
Let me
towards
see.
the end of game, Dak will have the offensive line do that
The up and
when they
down,
get into victory
right, yeah.
formation.
That was a timing mechanism, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah, he did in Tom Landry, besides, winning 2 Super Bowls, really brought a lot of things to the sport. He really helped evolve the passing game early on. So he was amazing coach.
Hey, quick correction. Apparently it's called the Landry shift is the official term that they call it. Is the tribute for Tom Landry. Is the Landry shift.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah. But anyways, I'll just jump back. I 100% think the Jets should trade Brees. They should be shopping him around. I think we can all agree, or most of us can agree, the Jets are truly in a rebuild mode, right? Unlikely to be in anything else. Running backs typically nowadays don't get a second contract with the original team. It's not normally what happens. And in most cases, running backs burn out or fade away. I guess they do both. They say it's better to burn out than fade away, but they do both with their team that drafted them. So get something for him. He's going to want too much money, right? Next year, the Jets are not going to be vying for a Super Bowl, I do not believe. And so overpaying for running back is, you have money, but don't be like Gerard Mayo. We got money to burn, baby. Right? So you got to use it wisely. I respect Brees for what he is, which was a multi-purpose type back. He's not a true running back. But he has a tremendous value for all-purpose yards. I'm not disparaging that at all. But I just don't think – I think he's going to want too much money, and then you lose him for nothing. And so you shop him around. There's going to be a team that needs a running back. You get a pick. And picks are how you rebuild teams. And so, yes, I clearly agree that the 2 players you can't trade are, because of the situation you're in, not for any other reason, in my opinion, are Sauce and Garrett Wilson. I wouldn't trade away Garrett Wilson, but Sauce I might consider, but not now.
Because the contract, right? It's nearly impossible.
It makes it untenable, impossible. So, but we got to really embrace the concept that it's a rebuild, and we really got to ramp up who's going to be the quarterback of the future. The Jets have piecemealed it, tried to rent a quarterback, if you will. And they just need to get their quarterback, right? They've seen their quarterback successful throughout the league. You can go see them. They're going to Pro Bowls and, being successful and throwing for 4,000 yards, with the exception of Zach is good. So they need to get their guy, right? They passed on Dart last draft. I thought they should have gone after him. But anyways.
Have you watched, I mean, I can't watch the college games on Saturday because I observe the Sabbath, but have you watched Sellers or any of the other guys there? Just impressed you?
No, I'm typically pretty busy on Saturdays. I watch Notre Dame and a little Syracuse, but I'm not going to be busy tomorrow. So I'll be looking really at this quarterback.
Okay.
Intently. So, Bob, respect. I started reading the book.
Good.
So just start cracking
let me know.
it. So,
let me know.
More to come.
We need some up-to-date reviews on Amazon. So let us know.
Will do.
I think you'll enjoy it. Thanks.
All right, there he is. Hop on Pop. There on the program. I would say the Jets have unfortunately attempted to get their own guy. That was Sam Darnold. Didn't work out. Zach Wilson didn't work out. So it's been a swing and miss on the draft train. But, hey, you can't just give up on every pass.
What about the story this week about Mark Sanchez? Whoa.
Oh, boy. That's quite a story. I'm not even quite sure how to fully unpack it now that he could be in prison for multiple years. And here's the thing, right? So I got a recent gift. Why not bring it up on the show here? Let me see. Is this the final one?
Mark Sanchez jersey?
Close. very close. I know it's one of these items. Here it is. Okay. Shout out to the great Jake Asman. What a gift I received. What a gift. Let's go. We'll go full screen here so you guys can see this. This did not happen this week, but I received this beautiful gift. Look at this autographed Mark Sanchez photo. I love Sanchez. I still have that Sports Illustrated cover somewhere. What a gift a couple of months ago.
He
Jake,
really, I mean, talk about a guy who they got and who Rex immediately understood how they needed to use him, and basically is just put him out there and don't make mistakes.
Yeah, and I love that Reebok hat too. Very nice. I still have that.
Yeah. It's remarkable, the whole story, and how he's in the hospital, and he was in critical condition the first 24 hours.
Yes, very
in
scary.
the hospital. And the other thing that surprised me, the guy that's suing is suing Fox as well.
Nice. Hey, go for all the money you can.
I mean, I know they're suing Fox to add on to the ante that he could win, but how is it Fox's fault? Because he was in Indianapolis to cover a game?
Well, they said I'm not a lawyer. Actually, Scotty hasn't been here in a while. He was supposed to be my lawyer, so I don't know where he is. I may need his services again here very shortly. But the suing of Fox, from what I read from the legal report, was that it was I just had the word, like basically that Fox hired him willy-nilly and didn't know that, that
he was prone.
Apparently, right. There's checkered back. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a lawyer, but apparently that's the angle they're going after. But no, so yeah, we'll see on Sanchez, or maybe not.
And they were fighting over a parking spot in the back of the bar.
We've all been there. Right?
No,
well,
we haven't all been there.
No, I guess not. I'm looking forward to him on the next movie of Longest Yard. He could be the quarterback for the prisoners. That'd be nice. We'll see how he does. I would also say
it would be the second remake, right?
That's correct. Yeah, the Adam Sandler one was terrific. The other one I would say is this, because of Jackson Dart. I know fans are at the ready. Oh, Jets, what an idiot. Okay. There were some out there, and I will give you credit where credit is due, that were Jackson Dart people and said, Jets need to get this guy. And there were some people out there. But the majority of you bastards out there are playing Monday morning quarterback. You didn't want Jackson Dart. And again, I know there was a few people who did, but there's a lot of people who did not, and said it would have been classic stupid Jets to take him. Drafting him with the 7th overall pick or trade back into the first round. They said it would have been aggressive and stupid, and you're overdrafting a guy and running on hype. So I just want some of you out there. So before you start yelling on this program about, Jets are idiots, I want you to look in the mirror and say, can you live with yourself at night if you're going to lie on this show and say, I knew he was going to be this superstar guy, which, by the way, is still undetermined. We've had a handful of games here so far. I think he just completed his 3rd or 4th start, for Pete's sake. So, let's rein it in there. But
if he were on the squad, if he had been drafted by the Jets, let's say they traded up into the first round,
sure,
with their second round pick, which
possible.
Okay, and it's possible. Okay, he would still be sitting. He would be sitting because he clearly is not even ready now. But the Giants are desperate to do something positive, and
that's also
3 games into his, generalship in the NFL is way too early to make a judgment about whether this kid is going to be any good or not.
Yeah, and so 3 Siblings is giving a shout out to a couple of Jets people out in the audience, TBF, PBM, and Jets Media. So shout out to, again, I'm not saying no one was on Jackson Dart. I'm just saying there's a lot of people that are coming back now just to make Jets jokes, but they weren't saying that before. And hey, I want to give a lot of credit. Jackson Dart has swagger, the mobility. He seems to have this internal clock in his head that running quarterbacks have to have, of the right moment to pivot here, the right moment to move here. Now, Jackson Dart better protect himself. He's taking way too many hits, and that is not going to last. But Jackson Dart was exciting, and it gives Giant fans, they just got their 2nd win of the season, emphatic fashion, prime time. I'm sure that Jet fans would love nothing more to them to be in one of those positions.
I love the swagger. Because when you can get the team, particularly your offensive, mates, to really be excited about having you on the field with them, that's a big thing especially for a rookie quarterback, but for any quarterback, that's a must.
Of course. So, hey, Giant fans should be excited. I'm not trying to deter your excitement. I'm just trying to make sure we deter any Jet phone calls if I told you so. Because, and let's just be here's the exciting part for Jet fans. Now, that's not as exciting as having potentially a franchise quarterback, but Armand Membu has been spectacular this year at 7th overall. And there was debate among that. Some people wanted Armand Membu, some people wanted Tyler Warren, some people wanted a receiver. All people wanted different kinds of things. Second round, Mason Taylor's had back-to-back career games, so he looks like his arrow's pointing up. That's exciting. So it's not a quarterback, but it's not like we swung and missed horribly, at least at this point, and these guys look like bums. So
the problem is rounds 3, 4, 5, 6.
Well, that one we're going to have to.
Perfect, but that's my issue with trading Brees for a 3rd round pick. Our history of drafting after the 1st or 2nd round. In fact, usually it's after the 1st round. Our 2nd round picks have been horrendous.
Yeah, historically speaking, that's true.
We just have a real problem. But again, it's a new regime with
100%. That's what I was going to say. Darren Muji deserves his chance to swing a couple of times.
And the people he's brought in, to basically run the scouting operation.
Sure, right. And so there's going to be fresh new people from that perspective as well. Speaking of fresh new people, let's go back to the phone lines, baby. A lot of people want to jump in on the program. We appreciate it. Here on the show, up next, Alon, baby, representing the
here is the man who's going to raise our spirits.
Well, no question about it.
Hello, Alon.
You are on mute, Alon. I can't flip that for you, so you may have to flip that yourself there.
Ooh, okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, Alon, I haven't had a chance to check the newspaper yet. How did my Rangers do last night?
They won, I believe, 4-0. 4-0, 5-0. I don't remember. I know the Islanders lost.
And how are the Islanders so far?
They lost their opener last night, but I don't expect them. Like the Jets, I expected the Islanders to lose a lot this year, but I know there's a rebuild with the Islanders. So, and their number 1 pick played great yesterday. So,
there you go. Beautiful. Great.
Couple of topics. First of all, let's talk about Sunday. I know that Peyton has a really good relationship with Glenn. I know he worked with Muji last year in Denver. But there's definitely no love lost with Sean Payton and the Jets. And could you imagine Sean Payton watching Jets tape for the first 5 games? Oh my God. The laughter that must have came out of his mouth is unbelievable. So I don't expect the game to be close. For anybody who has errands to run on Sunday, my advice is to do so after halftime when they're down 3 touchdowns. There's no need to watch the second half. Okay. I have it at 38-10. I think they're going to get absolutely destroyed on Sunday. I do.
Wow.
I think they'll be 0-6 coming home.
Good Lord.
Topic number 2. Let's talk about the fire sale.
All right. Yeah.
I am shocked, and I might be in the minority here. I am shocked that the Jets are allowing Breece Hall to hit the field on Sunday. I really am. He is an asset. I think a team out there would give you a 4 or maybe a 3 to go get him. Jets' luck is he'll go out there on Sunday and he'll tear his ACL, and that asset will go bye-bye. So to me,
think how inexpensively we can bring him back next year.
He's not coming back. And if you watch his interviews and his mannerisms, there is no interest of him coming back to the Jets. 0.
So I think I already know the answer to this question, but I am compelled to ask, being in this role.
Go for it.
If Breece Hall continues in this path right now, we'll see what the rest of the season is, but he's top 10 in rushing right now, top 7 in rushing specifically. My pop likes to do the all scrimmage yards. We'll recap that one when we get some more sample size this season. Would you at all be intrigued at a franchise tag, a tag and trade, or a tag to keep? Okay.
Absolutely not. No, I think his days as a Jet running back,
all right,
in the next couple of weeks, he'll be gone. I think he'll get traded in the next couple of weeks. Number 2, I don't see Quincy Williams ever suiting up for the Jets again. As you said last week, he should be off the IR by the time the trade deadline comes.
It's about 2 weeks, a week and a half, 2 weeks of trade time to be cleared off IR, correct?
I think he will get dealt as well. And finally, the guy you mentioned at the beginning of the show, that talk by Quinnen Williams to me is a cry for help. He's been here 7 years. Things are getting worse.
Yeah.
If I were the Jets and if a team offers a 1 and a 3, I'd shake his hand. I'd say it was nice doing business with you for 7 years, and I'd move on. Okay. And I like Quinnen. I think Quinnen's been okay this year. He's not gotten to the passer as much as I'd like him to. He's been good, but he hasn't been great. He hasn't been all world. I think it's time to move on. Both Williams brothers, in my opinion, will be ex-Jets within the next 4 or 5 months. Finally,
yes.
I love Jet fans. They are my favorite. But some of them are just absolute dopes.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why.
Please.
Over the last month, I kept hearing, why didn't we sign Clowney? Why didn't we sign Zadarius Smith?
Sure.
Why didn't we sign Keenan Allen? Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, it's a two-way street. Those guys were going to get paid or get decent money. Why in the world would they come here? They would rather play football in Baghdad than play with the Jets. Okay. No offense. The Jets are the bottom of the barrel. Okay. So I have no idea why people are continuing to tell themselves, oh, the Jets should have signed. Those guys had zero interest in coming here. None. Okay. My problem with what Muji and Glenn did this offseason is embrace the rebuild. I never understood why you didn't take the full Aaron Rodgers hit. I would have taken the entire $49 million right away. They half-assed the job. Okay. You say that you think this team could win now, and you don't do anything. I would have been more inclined for them to just completely blow it up. Tell Aaron Rodgers he's gone, take the entire hit, and go from there and embrace the rebuild, embrace the youth movement. Right now, it's just a mess out there. They're playing guys that there's no chance in hell they'll be on the team next year. Tony Adams will not be a Jet next year. Michael Clemens will not be a Jet next year. Alan Lazard will not be a Jet.
Yeah.
They will not be Jets next year. Why are they playing them now? They're 0-5. The season is over. It's done. Finished. The season is over. Play the kids. Bring the kids up. See what you have going forward. I don't understand the mindset of what this organization is doing currently.
All right, Alon, let's go to this because you've brought this up a few times. You're not the only one. There's been a few people that brought this up about how the phrasing of one Aaron Glenn this offseason has created this. At first, he sort of says it, but I don't know if he said it in as many words, but like he sort of indicated that he didn't say it was Super Bowl. So like rebuild was this sort of the initial phrasing. And then when he said win now, a lot of people went, oh, whoa, maybe not. And then now we've been left here at 0-5 where AG may be flipping the message, and it's not the same thing he said earlier. So some people have criticized him for that. Well, I never got a chance to get to this because of coming back from the Cowboys game and how we all caught up. So I want to play this clip, and I'm curious to hear if you've seen it already. There was a back and forth on this very subject matter on the press conference before they took the London trip, where AG was sort of pressed, hey, you said win now, buddy. And there was a back and forth between him and I believe it's Rich Samini. Let's play this.
Sometimes when a new regime comes in, it becomes very obvious to everyone that it's a total rebuild. When you got in, and I recall it at the scouting combine, you said exactly, we're here to win now. Do you think, having the benefit of some hindsight here, do you think maybe you underestimated the challenge that you were stepping into?
What coach is not here to win now? I'm asking.
Well,
every coach is here to win now. What you didn't say is what I said. I'm not thinking about the Super Bowl. I'm not thinking about playoffs. I'm thinking about building a foundation. And that's exactly what we're doing. So every coach in this NFL, I mean, that's what you're here for, is to win. So I'm not changing that at all. Yes, we are here to win now. We're actually absolutely here. Have we done it yet? No, we haven't. I understand that. We're 0-5 and we own that. But I do know this. That's not going to stop us from doing everything we can to win. So absolutely, we are here to win now, like every other coach is.
Alon.
Words matter. I think the messaging at the combine when he said this team would win now, I think if he had a chance, he'd go back and he would change those words. I just don't buy it. I never bought it. I never thought this team was a win now team. They were bringing in a reclamation project, a quarterback, on his third team at age 26. I never bought it. And I think he's trying to sell a bill of goods to Jet fans who actually think this team could win now. I'm glad that Rich addressed that. I like Rich as a reporter. I know people give him a lot of crap because they say he's not a Jet fan. I think he's a hard-hitting reporter, an
Very
old
much
school
so.
reporter. I have no problem with the way he addresses situations. Again, as I said last week, I think this is completely self-inflicted. I think words do matter, and I think the way he addressed the situation in the offseason, he's going to have to live with it. And again, they're 0-5. In a couple of days, they'll be 0-6, and they'll be coming home next week against Carolina in a building that will be 70% empty. I'm telling you, that place will be a ghost town next week against Carolina. And Woody Johnson's going to look at his building and see 25,000 people in the building and say, what the hell is going on here? And Aaron's going to have to live with those words. Those words matter. And he better hope an 0-6 team could turn things around, because 0-6 could soon turn into 1-16. And if this team is 1-16, there's a very good chance we're at a one and done position with this coach.
Let me ask you something.
Sure, go for it.
If the guy they hired was Bill Parcells in his prime, as opposed to Aaron Glenn at the combine, and he was asked the same questions, what kind of an answer do you think he would have given? I don't think it would have been much different. Although it would have been, it probably would have been a lot more the way Glenn phrased it now than may have phrased it back then.
There is no way that they would have that Bill Parcells would have said this is a win now team. No way. There is no way he would have done it. And I think he regrets saying that, because now he has to eat those words pretty much. And unfortunately, the team's getting worse week after week. And unfortunately, if they lose, let's say they lose by 3 touchdowns on Sunday, someone has to go. I know he had mentioned he thinks that Wilkes is going to stay the rest of the year. I don't think this fan base will buy that. I don't think it's going to fly with this fan base. Someone's going to have to go. He's going to have to take away play calling duties from Wilkes, maybe be his own DC. I have a problem with Glenn. I think Glenn got cocky. I really do. I think Glenn looked at the moment at that time, and he truly believed this team is a win now team. Even in the back of his mind, he said to himself, I don't think they are. And I never thought this was a win now team, especially when you're bringing in a quarterback on his third team. It made no sense. And I think back then he addressed it wrong, and now he's living with it. And you knew that the reporters now were going to bring it up. You knew it. And they will continue to bring it up.
They should. Yeah.
And one final comment. I keep reading into the chats. Justin Fields is not our quarterback of the future. Okay. Those stats are so misleading. The
Come
7
on,
touchdowns.
Man. Come on, Alon. You heard my stat. It's real. He is the last remaining starting quarterback that's played at least 4 games with no interceptions. He stands alone on top of that mountain, baby.
Guy holds onto the football for hours. Does not hit receivers when needs to. Progressions are awful. We are more than a quarterback away. I understand it. But if the Jets are, I'll rephrase this. When the Jets have their top 5 pick in April, they will draft a quarterback. No doubt. They're not trading back or anything. They will draft Mendoza or Sellers or Dante Moore. One of those guys will be a Jet.
Alon, what would your answer be to the question I posed before about what is the most difficult position on the field to replace, aside from the quarterback?
All right. It's even, Josh.
The most difficult
position on the field. Let's just say for the Jets, forget about quarterback, because they're going to need a quarterback. But if they were going to trade anybody that's on the team now, what would be the most difficult position for them to replace?
I mean, if you look at their roster right now, is the 2 tackles. I don't think they would trade either of them. They're not going to trade Garrett after he signed that contract.
Definitely not.
Trust me, I think they rue the day that they gave Sauce the contract, because if Sauce would have been a free agent coming up, he would have been another guy that they would have looked at to trade as well. I mean, there are many guys on this team that need to go. I expect this roster to be 70% different next year. I really do. I think they're going to completely turn this roster upside down. I really do.
Well, they probably will, because Glenn has to get his own guys in.
He has to.
Of course.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. But it's always a pleasure, guys. Again, they're going to lose this week, 0-6. And for Jet fans, my advice is to watch games tomorrow. I will be at A&M, so I won't be able to watch the Indiana-Oregon game. I'll try to tape it. I'll watch it maybe the next day.
Yeah.
It's more important for the Jets to see what the future is, because the present right now is an absolute shit.
Do you like the Indiana quarterback?
I do. I think he reminds me a lot of Jared Goff. Anticipatory throws is what really I've been a big fan of. I know he destroyed your team, but against us, against Iowa, I think Iowa's defense did such a great job against him. They disguised defenses against him, but he took a beating, but he made big throws when needed. I think right now, he, along with Sellers, along with Moore, I think there's going to be a bunch of guys that will be bunched up who will be vying for that top spot. And if the Jets have that top 5 pick, they're going to pick a quarterback. They're not going to trade back.
Before we end your uplifting weekly commentary,
sure, go for it.
Are any of the quarterbacks you've seen generational?
Do I think any of the quarterbacks coming out would be a day 1 starter? Generational? I don't know. I'm a bit. I've always been a Nussmeier fan. I think he has a lot of holes in his game as well. I'll tell you one thing. There's no quarterback right now that's in the draft that I would even remotely start at day 1 next year. I think
it's okay. They don't need to start.
Well, they have Fields, which again, I would assume
Fields
he's
will
going to
be there.
be the bridge. Right.
I think Sellers is a guy that's going to wow a lot of people at the combine because of his athletic traits. I think Dante Moore's really stepped his game up, even though there's talk about him actually going back to Oregon next year.
Really? Wow.
Okay. I do. I think there's a good chance he might go back. I mean, he's getting more money at Oregon than he would be in the pros. And I think Mendoza is an interesting guy. Again, that game tomorrow will really open some eyes for Jet fans and for fans around. But again, it's been a pleasure. And again, 0-6 is going to be a couple days away. Have a good one, guys.
You too.
0-6. Come on, man. We're going to turn this around.
Like I said, he's always that ray of sunshine that we look forward to every Friday morning.
You know, and weather is sometimes hard to rely on, but that weather report has been pretty consistent coming here on the program. We have 300 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe, everybody. Show your support for the program. Appreciate it. Also, hit those memberships, baby, and super chat questions. If you guys have questions for Bob or myself, you guys can send those in. If you're watching on YouTube, it's that little money sign and the final choice. The phone lines are also open. It's a pinned comment on youtube.com/boygreen25. It's a Friday. Something else pretty consistent is our Grubhub order of some Philly gosh darn noodles after seeing it in person.
I was afraid we weren't going to hear from you, but
it was delayed. It's one of those on the app. You're like, God damn it! They're
thank goodness my prayers have been answered.
That's right. The faux noodles are here. It's not real. Half this takes is
Hey, I hear you're about 7 feet tall. Is that
That's
true?
1,000% true.
I don't. You know what? My head encompasses so much of my body. So when you see me, it's like seeing Galactus for the first time in a Marvel movie.
Because someday when we meet, I'm gonna have to get on a big high chair in order to talk to you.
What I had noticed between you and Pops and yourself, Bob, all 3 of you can totem pole each other and sit on each other's shoulders and get up to me just to shake my hand.
As long as Paul is at the top.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you kindly for that. Much appreciated.
He's got the Viking beard over there. So
yeah, that's true.
Obviously, my brief take is, I just feel like Pops mentioned it, hit on it really well. his return on investment, the ROI on this guy's going downhill. It's not going to go uphill. It's going to go downhill. Well, it'll be an uphill battle. So I don't want a situation where I get Brees for 4 years, 2 guaranteed, overpaid, or whatever guaranteed. He walks away making, let's say, 20 million, 25 million off of us, and his first season and a half is good, and then he starts, falling apart. There's running backs with the holes that they're opening on the offensive line. You could find a running back. Look what just happened with Javonte the same game. He was running wild. Yes, the defense has been terrible, but he's been running wild. The other Williams, Dobbins, he's performing great. There's a plethora amount of running backs that could just perform, even if you sign one. You know what I mean? Let's see what Herbert does with these holes this week. Guaranteed he's going to be running this week. Isaiah Davis looks good when he runs through the hole when it's open. He's got good speed about him. I'm not sold on Brees Hall as a world beater. He is such a gigantic difference maker. You can't draft that again, or you can't make that out of 2 guys, maybe, which is annoying to say. But Gibbs was an option with the last regime. Like, people forget about that. Like, he was possibly shoot.
There it is, baby. There he is.
Well,
Chef Kevin
must,
Gilbert's restaurant. Yeah.
I must say, since I know how tall you are, Paul.
Yes.
I think estimating that Philly is 6-7 feet tall is a little bit of an exaggeration.
Yeah, it's probably 7'7", maybe. I gotta work on the units of measurement there, but there we go. That is the meet and greet.
But when you were talking to him, by the time the words got up to his ears, were they still audible?
Not at all, as a matter of fact. So I just sort of had to, you have to sometimes look up at something. My head had to be like this to try to north-south the message, and like pigeon carry it up. Yeah, Ravenclaw. Yeah,
I think you should have used Morse code. It would have gotten
Yodeling. Right. Da, 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 da. I don't know. Yeah, but there he is. Philly, which was great. And by the way, so Philly, you'll have an opportunity to address this. Philly was not originally scheduled to come, right? We had been doing this for months and months and months. And then randomly, a couple of tickets had become available. So shout out to the universe for the variety of ways that those became available. And now we have all these moments. So Philly, let me ask you the question on everyone's mind, especially after the Cowboys beat our candy ass all over the place. Any regrets, or did you make the right choice coming up?
Braylon Allen jersey 0. That was the best. The song and dance of thinking about it, and then you and Indy pushing it. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I just got to do it. I'm going to do it. Listen, I felt like I sat next to Dennis Quaid for an entire trip. It was amazing. He could have narrated anything. He could narrate the Wild Wild West. Look at Indy. I'm telling you, bro. The gravelly concrete voice. Batshall had us dying, bro, on the call.
Yeah. I hear everybody was talking about how they could hear your voice from all the way down.
That's what Batshall said. Yes.
Apparently it's a little loud. But I got to tell you a quick story. Now that Philly's on here, I took, and instead of driving the truck, I took the little sports car, and he's so big that I had to take the seat out so he could sit in the back seat and stretch his feet out.
Wow. Yeah, I you know what, Philly, I sort of understand that. That has to happen to me all the time when I'm driving around town here, so I could totally relate. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
it had to be, because it would have been like sitting in coach. Southwest.
This big gangly bastard.
But as you got closer and closer to the final destination, did you have to change your seat position and bring it back up forward like they do on an airplane?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Because we're clearing landing. I had to switch. I get in my seat, sit back, get my buckle. Real quick, guys. Let me get this off here. I need to say this. Anybody, like BJ was saying, anybody who is football related, anybody who thinks Jackson Dart had to get drafted to the Jets because you foresee the possible future that he was the next Super Bowl contender for the Jets, hold on a second. Daboll worked and is working the way it is because the old misconnection. If you ask how he felt, he said, I thought I was going to the Giants. I wanted to go to the Giants. You would have selected him into the same building, not playing with the blue. I don't have the same quarterback. You don't get the same quarterback. Things happen for reasons. It is what it is. We're sucking for a reason. And we've sucked before, so what's the difference? But I got to take this call, guys.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Have a
Yeah.
good
There you
weekend,
go.
Philly.
An important business call happening there at
Yeah.
the Philly residence. But again, it was awesome. Indy, thanks for bringing him up. Philly, thanks for being peer pressured into coming, and a new annual tradition has been birthed. So that's awesome.
Absolutely. You know, and DT, the DT shirt looks great on you. You know, we got to give him back, the little love there. I'm glad you got your shirt on. You know, Paul, Bob, I have to say that if you don't ever go to a tailgate for at any other tailgate, you have to go to one of BG's. Make it, put it on your your to-do list, to make it to at least one of his, because he's going to have, this is not going to be
Every
a
year.
one-off deal.
Yeah, right. So you got a
He's gonna
couple
do
of
this
months,
every year.
Bob. Got a couple of months.
I do intend in some point in the next couple of years, God willing, to be there. Here's the only problem, and I'll resolve it myself.
Oh,
with a couple of tuna sandwiches, is that I'm kosher, and so I probably wouldn't have been able to eat anything that had been served as delicious and as wonderfully odorous as I hear it was. But
Well,
anyway,
here's the thing that Bob. Here's the thing that BG has over anybody else. He brought in his a chef not just a cook. There's a difference between a cook and a chef. Chef Kev came in, and I can guarantee you, after meeting Chef Kev and the whole everybody, if we would have said, okay, Bob, can we get something for Bob to eat? Can we make something special just for Bob? That way he can party and enjoy a meal too. Chef Kev and everybody would have made it happen. So we can't use that as an excuse not to come.
I get. Would you like just a little bit of education about all this situation?
Oh, okay.
I'm always open for education.
Okay, all right. Well, he would have had to have a separate barbecue, because you can't make like a hamburger, a kosher hamburger on a non-kosher barbecue pit.
Oh, okay.
So that's one thing he would have had to do. He would have had some of the ingredients that he would have used would have had to been checked for whether they were, kosher or not, whatever. It would have been a completely waste of his time to try to do that. But you know what? I think Paul would have taken care of me. He probably would have done it anyway.
Exactly. That's what I was sitting there trying to say, is that if that's what it took to get you there to the game, and all we had to do was something very simple like that, I'm sure they would have made it happen. That's the difference.
That wouldn't be the reason. That wouldn't be the reason why I could not or would not have been there. And I'll also tell you, I'll give you a little hint.
Yeah,
you have not had a steak until you've had a kosher steak.
Okay, I got to try that. Yeah, Nate says here, by the way, that Chef always hooks it up for my vegan girlfriend. He would have found a rabbi to bless the food for you, Bob. So there you go.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
That's the difference in a BG tailgate is, we catered, he catered to, what everybody, and just said, hey, we're just going to go all out, and no matter who shows up, we're going to
I'll say one of the reasons I would love to be there is that, and I told this off the air to Paul, I think it was last week, if not the week before, and that is, you guys really make my week by having me on every Friday, because it's wonderful to be basking in the sunshine of Jetdom. And I don't say that as a joke. I really appreciate being taken seriously, just because of what the experience I had writing a book about guys from 60 years ago, who are very special. And even now, I really love having people read the book, because I wrote the book because these guys were basically being forgotten completely, except for Namath. And that team could never have won. As you know, it's a football team. Could never have won without the contributions. And they only had 44 other players who suited up that year.
Right. So. But to just to touch base here, at the beginning of this, we talked about Hep, and you talked about the music. Usually when you listen to a recorded music, and then when you go hear a live version of it, it's usually not the same. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's usually not as good as as the studioed live version.
Recorded up 100%.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say I got a big shout out to Hep because his live version was better than his recorded version. And the energy that he put into that song, and he probably could have kept going for 5 more minutes, and we would have all continued to just, Hep had 50, 80 people, I don't know how many, singing along with him. That was just fantastic. So again, shout out to the live version of Hep. And then you got to hear. I'll tell you what. When BG gets a super chat, and Little Miss gets on there and says, "Wow." Well, I'll tell you what. We got her to do it one time live too, and there again, that version is live. That version is better live than what it was in the recorded studio. I don't know how old that is, BG, the original one. But,
right. That's a good point. Yeah, I don't know.
But her, even the little one even improved on her wow. So she's just another. There's just so many great things that happened with the tailgate, and you know what, the game wasn't the greatest, but there's still nothing that's going to top the meetup the night before. And then the absolute fantastic time that everybody had at the tailgate. So put that on your list. Everybody everybody that's in the chat that hears this, when he starts talking about next year's tailgate, you better get on board quick, because tickets are going to be gone quick this year. I can bet you on that.
Let me ask the question of you. I asked of Philly. What do you think is the most difficult position to replace? If the Jets could trade anybody, what would be the most difficult position to replace?
Well, obviously it's going to be the tackles. If and that goes, whether it's injury, whether you're you have a starting a really good left tackle, and the left tackle is far more important than the right tackle with a right-handed quarterback.
You're not concerned about the struggles he's had this year?
No, because he's still young. I mean, and in all reality, he played some last year, and he was behind a left tackle that was at the end of his career, that was not playing well. So he picked up on some of those not playing well traits, and I understand that he's not going to be a Pro Bowl left tackle from basically year one. But if you were to replace him with Max Mitchell, or who, if you saw the grimace that portrays, so there's a difference in that replacing. You could replace Sauce and put Azaria out there. You could do that with Stevens. You're going to lose some, and even it's no better than Sauce is playing. It's really not that hard to replace him. But that's a huge swing if you have to put Max Mitchell at left tackle.
It's a good point.
I mean, did you lose much when Tyrod over Fields? Not really. You might even gain some. So we're even replacing the quarterback with what we have here. It didn't lose much, but I think if you were to change that left tackle out, I think you would see even I think that's the hardest one. You can replace a defensive tackle, defensive end, may not get, but I don't think that's going to make or break the game. You lose your starting left tackle, that affects the whole game.
Yeah, especially since, and to Indy's point, especially since we don't have ABT anymore, we don't have that last second resort that can kick out there to left tackle anymore. Max Mitchell is the next option, and yikes.
Yeah, and to one last point here, I know I'm being Neil here, but when Allen was on, he's really bashing AG and thinks that AG should back off his words of win now. Yeah. Right. So, Bob, you've watched the NFL for a long time. BG, I think you've watched a game or two in your lifetime.
That I have. Yeah.
Can you tell me name me a coach that says, "Hey, we're going into this season and we're going to go 0-17," and
We're
this is
going to
what
rebuild, so don't expect much from us.
Yeah, how many?
I don't remember that. No.
Even during a rebuild, does a coach ever come out and just say, "You know what? We don't plan on winning"?
I don't remember that. No.
I've and the NFL's been around a while. So what do you want the coach to say? Even if the team is horrible. I mean, we've seen some really bad teams, the Saints the Saints, Detroit, they've all had some really bad
Cleveland,
seasons.
Yeah.
Do you think the coach came out and said, well, hey, we plan on losing this week too?
I don't think so. No.
I've never heard it. So what more do you want AG to say? He comes into it.
Why are we holding him hostage for those comments with this?
Yeah, it's enough. Alon has made that point. It's enough.
Can you imagine if he was the head coach? Would he come out and say that? Hey guys, we're going to London this week, and we plan on coming back 0-6.
Yeah, let's go out there and not get embarrassed.
Yeah, let's make sure that we take our starters and we're gonna sit them, and we're gonna play these young guys and make sure that we lose. And by the way, fans, we're gonna try to go for that number one spot. So who does that? I've never heard a coach say that before.
One of the things that I heard from virtually every one of the Super Bowl Jets was that they expected to win against the Colts, and I was surprised because everybody figured they were going to get slaughtered. And yet, clearly, whether you're a college player or particularly a professional player, you can't go into a game expecting to lose.
Back in 2009 and 2010, when we made our last playoff run, we went into Indianapolis in the wild card game. We were expected to lose that game too. We were expected to lose the game against the Patriots. We were expected to lose those games. And so sometimes the Jets does, or teams just in general come out and win games that they're not supposed to or are expected to do. But I still, you're not going to have. There's 32 head coaches in the NFL, and all 32 of them, strive to go 17-0. There's not a single coach out there that's going to coach to lose a game. They're just not going to do it. And I think that's kind of what he wants. He wants AG to come out there and say, well, we want to win. No, wait, let's change our mind. We're going to lose now. The Jets fans would lose their minds if the coach came out and said,
rolled over. I agree.
Yeah. Hey, we're done. We're not going to fight anymore. And we're just going to strive to get through the season and go 0-17, because that makes the best decision. That's not even reality.
Again, in writing my book, I spoke to some of the Kansas City Chiefs about what their expectations were when they played the Packers in the first Super Bowl. And I remember Ed Buddy, I think it was, one of their offensive linemen, said, we expected to beat them. Yeah. We saw the films and we knew it was going to be tough, but we thought we were a damn good team and we could beat them.
Yeah.
No pro is going to go into a game expecting to lose unless you're a real loser, and talk about somebody that you don't want on your squad.
Well, we've got a super chat coming in. I believe this is a sarcastic super chat, but nonetheless, super chats are all accepted here on the show.
Wow.
The legendary Jake Asman, who now has a raffle ticket for this month's contest. Thank you, Jake. He says, no team has had better weeks of practice than NYJ. And Jake, I've got great news for you, pal, because I told you guys that Aaron Glenn was speaking earlier during our show. Well, this is from AG, Aaron Glenn, earlier this morning / afternoon over there. Quote, we had a really good week of practice. I thought everything we did as far as being here as a group, being at the hotel together, getting the chance to vibe together, I thought was really, really good. End quote. There you go. Aaron Glenn believes we had another great week of practice. So, Jake, hey now.
Come on, Jake. Get on the train. Get on the train, Jake.
On it before it's too late, Jake. Choot. Great week of practice leading to victories. I'm all about that train. Let's go. Thank you, Jake. Thanks for the super chat, pal. And cheers to all the success and the week-to-week visits here on the Man Show with Boy Green Digital. We appreciate that. Thank you, pal. All right, let's go back to the phone lines. We're joined by Frank aka For Lily. And by the way, Frank won our September contest, which was
Frank, I
awesome.
mailed your
Received
book
the package,
yesterday.
yeah.
You should get it. They
Oh,
told
there
me
you go.
you should.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate that.
You should get it on Tuesday.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Looking forward to it.
Good.
I'm gonna actually give it as a gift to my brother because he was
Yes,
a big.
I know.
He was a
I
big
know.
fan.
Have you read the book yourself yet?
I've read part of it. I'm gonna try to
Okay.
finish it over the weekend.
Okay, good.
So, yeah, I think I asked you a couple of questions about one time about how close Sayers. You had mentioned Sayers and Butkus were close to coming to the
Oh,
Jets.
yeah.
I found that
Yeah.
really interesting. I
And
was like,
Bob Hayes.
yeah.
Yes,
Oh.
yes, there you go.
First of all,
that's what I wrote. That's what I wrote to Paul's dad, because he got a copy, and I said, hope you enjoy the book, especially page 169, because that is
that.
where the
Nice.
Jets, the PR guy told me, oh, we really wanted to get Bob Hayes.
Yeah, Bullet
Nice.
Bob Hayes, baby, nice.
Yeah.
So first of all, everybody in the chat and you guys get it out. Go ahead, tell me how shitty the Yankees are. Get it out.
Oh, congratulations on a good season.
Oh, yeah.
I'll give
that's
everybody the
good.
chance. Okay.
Right.
I wonder what a Red Sox fan would tell you about this past week.
Probably the same
I don't
thing,
know.
I would
What would
imagine.
a Red Sox fan say? We're both in Cancun at this point, right? I don't know if you saw that whole thing.
So, cheers. Let's see if your guy Aaron Boone keeps his job. That's wonderful. Cheers and cheers.
Yeah, we'll see.
My
will see.
condolences on Mike Greenwell, Paul. I wanted to.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that's very
By the way,
sad.
did you guys? I don't want to. I do have football questions, but
Okay.
You guys see how the Dodgers Phillies game ended last night?
I did not. What happened?
A throwing error by the pitcher I heard early today.
Bases loaded, 2 outs, and I think it was the bottom of the 11th, and it was game tied, score 1-1. He gets the guy to a ground ball, simple ground ball back to the pitcher. He bobbles it, he panics, and then throws it over the catcher's head.
Well,
and the run scored.
Oh my God!
The Dodgers
I've never seen a game
run
that
on
way.
The Dodgers got their first run on a bases loaded walk.
Yes, that's right. They did. Yeah, because we were watching it. My wife is a Phillies fan, so then we went to the Giants Eagles game because she's again Eagles fan as well, and they got toasted by the Giants.
Yeah,
so she had a rough night. Anyway, so I actually asked this question to Alon. We were talking about it in the chat a couple of days ago. If I said to you, you could choose the top 44 players in the NFL right now. In other words, the top 2 at every position. You can't move positions. Like you can't, like Garrett Wilson is our, number 1 wide receiver. You can't move him to 2.
Right.
Is there anybody on the Jets you would take in the top 2?
It's a good question.
And then ask yourself, move it to 3 in each position. And is there any Jet you would take?
Maybe Quinnen Williams.
Quinnen's the only one I can think of. You're right. That's the only one I can think of.
Yeah, I don't think Garrett Wilson is very good, but he's not one of the top 2.
Right. So my point is that it's everybody's, have all it's the quarterback, it's the coaching. At the end of the day, this team's got to turn over its personnel, and it's going to take as much.
Wait,
watching this, it's going to take
boys.
a year or 2.
Breaking news: we have something coming in for Frank. Let's go to the tail of the tape here.
Yankee lose. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Oh, sorry, just had a.
I have to say, I love that too.
The Cancun, was that the Cancun thing? It's only heard half of it. I didn't realize I had to unmute it or something.
Oh, yeah, I can play it again for you. Here we go.
BG,
Sure.
go ahead.
The Yankee lose. The Yankee lose. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Hey, let's do it again. The Yankees lose. The Yankees.
Look at Jeter.
Yeah, Jeter, A-Rod's on the set
Jeter.
too.
Oh my God, that's priceless.
Beautiful.
That's priceless.
Gotta love Ortiz.
Frank, you make a great point about the personnel. The Jets personnel, the Super Bowl season, they had 14 guys who went to the All-Star game. Now, obviously, Namath was top of his game. He would have been the number one quarterback in the league.
Sure.
Maynard would have been right up there too.
Of course.
But the other guys were just really good players.
Right, Winston Hill, you know.
Yeah, I mean, Winston Hill was great, but there were other great left tackles, and even Philbin, who had 20 and a half sacks unofficially, according to Paul Zimmerman. You know, he was probably the best left defensive end in the league, but it's just the quality, you know, and the capability of all the players. And so it's quality across both lines and everywhere else. You don't have to have the best, but you have to have really good players.
Yeah, and you have to have depth too. You have to have some. You have to have depth.
Yeah.
And my point is, I mean, the last under Salah, what's the most games we won? 7? Was that correct?
I believe 7. Yeah, because they
it's
definitely
not
did
like,
win more than that. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like anybody who thought we were going to win 12 games. Sorry, couldn't
No,
get
it's
that
okay.
out.
That gets you emotional. I can understand.
Yeah. I actually feel really bad because I had him at 8 or 9. So I feel dumb myself. So
Well, you shouldn't. Again, I had him at 12, and as far as I can count, 12 is still on the table, baby. So come on.
Oh, you're right.
Starts
You're
on
right.
Sunday. Let's go.
All right, thanks, Bob. I
Hold
appreciate
on, before you go,
we
Frank.
love having you every
Before
Friday.
you go.
Yep.
Yankees lose. The Yankees lose.
All right, I'll let you have it.
There you go. Which well done. Thank you, Big Poppy, for your
good,
contribution.
what a good fan. You know that he can take.
Yeah. He did, and he wore the hat. This is another thing I respect.
every week.
People ask me this all the time.
Hey, when
Right.
your team loses and you keep your hat on, that's a fan.
That's what I say.
But I love the picture of Jeter.
Oh my goodness, that's terrific. So I'm glad I was able to get that very quickly. You know, the Jets obviously haven't done much winning this season. They're 0-5, but I go to the local sandwich shop, I grab something. I'm wearing the Jets hat, I'm wearing a Jets shirt, I'm wearing Jets shorts, I'm wearing Jets shoes, and then I get oh boy. I get all the commentary when I go to the post office, when I go to the sandwich shop, when I'm going to the grocery store, and they give me some sort of crap, and I just say, hey, man, I'm with this team when they win, when they lose. You're not going to see them lose, and I'm cowering in the corner with a blue shirt on. No, I'm going to be here no matter what, and that's the true telltale sign of a fan. So massive salute to Frank for dragging his happy playoff-less Yankees ass in here. I can only respect it, so shout out there to Frank. That's very nice.
Agreed.
Big salutes. So, folks, we got 300 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe. I'll be back on in an hour, basically. We got fantasy football coming up here on the show, which will be great. But, Bob, we'll definitely have you. There's a lot of peer pressure happening here. We're definitely going to have you for a future tailgate. That's for certain. And it looks like Philly wants to tell you something.
Yeah, just one more thing, just to bring up the draft again. It sucks that we're talking about this, but this is my stance, and I'm gonna say it as quickly as I can.
Okay.
We're seeing quarterbacks beat us. Dak beat us.
Sure.
We got beat last year by Knicks. We've been beat by you. Sometimes you're getting beat by quarterbacks that are not number 1 overall picks, not even top 5 overall picks.
Sure.
We need to take the best available player, which is probably going to be the wide receiver for us out of Arizona State.
Yeah.
And if that's not it, you got to go defense. You got to pick the best defensive player available. You can come back for a quarterback. You could sell your future for the quarterback if it's the guy you want. We've seen teams do it. The Giants just did it, like, correctly, right? They did that.
But that's a very dangerous game to play, of course, because you get cute, and let's say let's make this up. We'll go to last year's quarterbacks because I know them a lot better. I haven't dove into this year's quarterbacks yet. But let's say they love Jackson Dart. They're like, 7's a bit rich. We really love Armand Membu, but we love Jackson Dart. We think he could be a franchise quarterback. And they're like, all right, we'll take Membu. We'll try to trade back up. And they're unable to trade back up. Jackson Dart goes to another team, isn't a superstar. And then you're like, Jesus, we're idiots. We blew it on our guy. I think if you have a quarterback you love, and again, Jackson Dart was interesting because that took a gamble by the Giants to believe all the other 31 teams viewed him the same way. Jackson Dart thought he was going to get taken by the Saints at 9. So it goes to show you the fine line that exists in quarterback evaluation. You get cute and miss out on your guy. You know, you'd rather have the quarterback than the sterling right tackle, which Armand Membu appears to be. So it could just be a dangerous game to play. That's all I'll say about that.
I do get it. Yeah,
I don't think the jury is completely out on Fields yet. And I'm not trying to be optimistic, but you know, who knows? I mean, like I said at the beginning of the season, they got to fix one thing at a time with him, because he had characteristics that really worked against him, and one of them was inaccuracy. And I think he's, except for the one game against Buffalo, he's been fairly accurate.
Yes.
Okay. He hasn't really he didn't make throws last week against Miami that were really dangerous, that could have resulted in interceptions, despite the pressure that he was under. You know, the progression, it's hard to deal with the progression when you basically only have, one wide receiver, and you have one tight end that you can really rely on.
Mm-hmm.
So how many places is he going to look?
Which, by the way, let's give a quick shout out to Fields. So, right, I said that interception number, and I'm still, wow, the people are not stopping on Twitter. I have like 50 notifications I'll have to get back to, perhaps, at some other point. But right now, at this current moment in time, there's more games to be played. He would set a new career high in completion percentage. He would set a new career high in yards per attempt, and he would set a new career high in quarterback rating. So, Justin Fields, again, you look at some of the numbers, so you can say stat padding, this, that, or the other, debates about everything, is that, hey, JF7, not too shabby.
They got to establish a running game on Sunday.
Of course.
To keep the pressure off.
They just got to stick with it. So my thing is, alluding to that topic though of saying, if that's the guy you like, you take the guy you like. Okay, so that's the same rate to say, if that's the guy you want and you can hop back in, you're going to spend whatever you need to go back to go get that guy that you think
perhaps.
You want.
Touche.
That's what I'm saying. So I think Justin Fields buys them time still, that you signed him for 2 years guaranteed. Like, you gave him guaranteed money. It buys you that time to say, I'm going to take that wide receiver, because who wants to try to find a wide receiver who's going to get overpaid trying to be a number 2 on the Jets when you could draft Jordan Tyson, who's all
and have him for 5 years? It's a compelling argument.
It's you gotta think we are short. What if for Lily just say, name me 2 best guys on the Yeah. Just Quinnen Williams? Maybe Sauce. He's playing like crap. Okay, go get a defensive player.
Yeah, I guess
tough.
that's true. Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I think we could be sellers. Imagine that one. Not getting sellers, but selling out.
Oh,
to grab more picks.
Sellers. Yes, good wordplay there.
Rebuild.
Okay, we'll see.
Right,
good conversation, Philly. Good to have you back, and Hef is back. Hef.
One last thing. Happy birthday, Tatiana. We love you. Thank you for sharing your boy Paul with us. Peace out.
There you go. Hef calling in, giving Tatiana a nice happy birthday message. Beautiful, as we're wrapping up the program. A compelling conversation all show today, Bob. That was a lot of fun. Like I said, I'm going to be back on in an hour. If you guys have fantasy football questions, submit them for our fantasy football expert, Joe Bartle. I'll have that link created here momentarily, so you guys will be able to send those through, and it should be a good time. So, Bob, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Same to you. Thanks again. Right. And thanks to everybody out there for calling in and participating.
All right. We will see you guys soon. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.